This is why you will remain dumb if you don't make these changes. One of the biggest mistakes I was making in my academic journey and when I was growing up is that I thought I knew it all. This sense of complacency was extremely dangerous because when you think you know it all and you think that, there's nothing more to learn for you, and it's quite crazy that I thought like this at the age of 18, I ended up going into deep depression because I was like, oh, I can't get depressed. I had very little knowledge about mental health problems. I had very little knowledge about actually how to learn, how to deal with imposter syndrome, how to deal with all of these like existential crises, all of these challenges I was going at the time. But because I had this sense of complacency and this, you could call it toxic masculinity or just ignorance, it massively affected me, and I ended up failing my A levels as a result of that. So, in order to become a smart individual, what you have to realize is that there's always something more to learn. And in order to learn, this is the most important ingredient in becoming an excellent student and a smart person overall, is to ask questions. My life changed when I started asking questions. So one of the mistakes I was making when I got into King's is that in the lectures, I was more keen about getting my point across and coming across as the smart student. Basically, I was looking for validation. But I realized that I was learning very little. So when I came out of my self-centered bubble and I realized that, okay, like I'm actually doing less good here. I'm not actually getting most out of my education. And I started asking other people questions, and I started asking the teacher more questions. Not only did I start enjoying my lectures more, my grades went up, and actually my happiness went up. I came across on a post on Instagram. It was a survey done by The Economist. They were saying that people who ask questions live longer, they're happier, and they're more successful. So ask questions, honestly. It will change your life. And when you ask other people questions, you make them feel important. You may meet a person, a very successful person, and by you asking them certain questions, they may take interest in you. They're like, oh, this person is very keen on learning. I want to teach them something. But if you have a sense of complacency, you think you know it all, no one will want to talk to you or teach you anything because you'll be bad vibes, and people will see through your insecurity. To be actually a smart student and a smart person, and most importantly a wise person, you must ask questions, and you need to get out of the mentality of thinking that you know it all. You need to listen. Again, lack of listening, active listening, I believe comes from insecurity. When I got a bit smarter, when I started doing well in my academics, because I was a very dumb student most of my life, I was actually not good at school and not good at education, and I was quite underestimated. I wanted to prove a point to people, and when I actually proved a point by getting into Kings, and I thought like, finally, like I can show people how smart I am. I actually stopped listening to a lot of the good things, advice I was getting around me, because I thought what I had to say was more important. Whenever there would be a conversation, I would be like waiting to speak rather than listen. And this put off a lot of people. And I was lucky that my sister told me that, Khushal, you need to start listening more. That way you will learn a lot more. And she was right. Since I've started listening, taking an interest in what other people have to say, I've learned a lot more. My performance, everything got better. So if you want to become smarter and wiser, you must listen. And finally, you're not dumb. You just don't know what it takes to learn. So stop being hard on yourself. You're capable of amazing things. And learning, it's got a procedure. It's not like, oh, either you're born smart or like born dumb. It doesn't work like that. I used to have this mentality, and I limited myself so much. I capped my potential by thinking that way. And the second I realized that, you know what? It's all about hard work, listening, asking questions, and learning how to learn. There's also one needs to keep on learning how to learn, because the harder the challenges get, you need to change your approach, you need to be open and fluid. So if you get stuck, that doesn't mean you're dumb. It's just you need to work slightly harder, stay with that problem, and eventually you will figure it out. So never think you're dumb. You just don't know what it takes to learn, and inshallah, with hard work, you will figure that out. Thank you for listening.